Si es Jesús, el mejor amigo. Si es Jesús, el mejor amigo. Esto que suena y tu carga llevaré. Ese es el mejor. Bueno, ¿cómo te Víctor?
Sí, Dios te bendiga. Pedro está en el hospital otra vez, me dijo aquí, que ahora le acaban de hacer un ensayo y lo voy a llevar contigo allá.
Oh.
Sí, porque se cayó y él se lo llevó cuando salió el día 12 y se lo llevó para la casa. Se cayó y no me dijo nada. Entonces, cuando llegó a casa el miércoles de la semana pasada, yo le veo los ojos vivos.
Oh.
Entonces, pues, él dice que se lo traen en urgencia el sábado porque el sobrino del doctor y me dijo que lo trajera y lo traen aquí, lo querían dejar. Pero no, él dijo que no, que iban a hacer domingo y lunes, que él se iba para casa. So, lo llevé y lo traje, el mal que la doctora no vino, porque me dieron que llamar a la doctora y vine ayer y la doctora lo ingresó y ahora le hicieron el MRI porque tiene los ojos como la gente que tiene estrabismo, completamente virado. Y hoy lo noté que tienen índices de sangre. Una mata grande que se dio y él no lo llevó al médico. Tiene los ojos como la gente que tiene estrabismo.
Sí,
Y no ve muy bien, no ve casi. Y la fresita mira y el ojo se le vira todo lo negro, se le ve lo blanco.
Oh.
No sé, me dijo ahora el muchacho de tecnología que el doctor me daba los resultados hoy, que hoy me da unos resultados.
Sí, seguro, sí, eso técnica, bien, bien. Pues déjame orar por esa situación, ¿ok?
Sí, por eso
Te
después me
damos
llama, Dios
gracias.
te bendiga.
Ok, Dios te bendiga, papá. Ah, bueno. Es Jesús el mejor amigo. Sí, es Jesús el mejor amigo. Sí, es Jesús el mejor amigo. Oh, 315. Esta es suplicación y tu calor. John, don't tell me you drove the truck all the way over there. It's like 10,000 miles, and they finally give you a long one, huh? Did you take the Biden tunnel to go over there? Because I think they said that it was already paid for. I think I remember Peppermint Patty. I think she said it was already paid for, the tunnel going under the Pacific. It has only one exit in Hawaii, and the next exit you're over there in the Philippines. you th- you take so, get it. Mm. Oh, okay. What phone are you gonna get? No, I went. What did you see what happened that I wrote down about what happened to me with the Verizon store? Oh, gee, that's terrible. What happened to me at the Verizon store, man? I, I ordered a Verizon phone, online, you know, and then so it was a Samsung 25 FE or whatever, and the thing is that particular phone has a proprietary C connector and a plug. It's proprietary, so you can't use like a regular plug for it. Yeah, you have to use just that plug and that cable. If it's not that plug and if it's not that cable, it's not charging. you know. So so I was trying to charge it, with a regular C plug, and it didn't want to charge. And then so I call up, customer service. I say, hey, this phone is not charging. So I spent like 2 hours on the phone. They tried to sell me everything. I think I spoke with every single person out in the Philippines. Okay, they would they would they wanted to for me to buy a guarantee on all the electronics in my house and even in the neighbors' houses. Okay. I spent like 2 hours. I spoke like with 5 or 6 people. I kid you not, 5 or 6 people. And would you believe that nobody said anything about that? The reason why it wasn't charging up was because it had a proprietary plug and a proprietary cable that could only be used for that phone. And if it's that's it. That's the only plug that'll fit it. That's the only plug that'll work. Yeah. Yeah. That that's it. Don't you gotta make sure you go over there. I mean, because like just to give you an example, when I went to Brandon Hospital, the ER, not long ago, it was like 2 weeks ago or something like that, because the VA couldn't find what was going on with me. So I went to the Brandon Hospital, hoping that over there I might get lucky. Who knows? I might get like a Dewey Hauser kind of guy. I don't know. But anyway, I went over there and my phone was completely dead. And wouldn't you know, the nurse had a charger for the Android, and they charged my phone. Which is good. But I don't want a phone that only one plug in the universe is gonna be able to charge it. You know? No, no, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Of course, you're like the Boy Scout guy. You're prepared for any emergency. I mean, you don't know. Maybe Trump might call you up and tell you to bring some special bombs that they're gonna drop on Iran, and you gotta be the guy that drives them over there. Nobody else in the whole universe is gonna be trusted with this. It's a That's true. There you go. There you go. Well, so anyway, check this out, right? So I after the 2 hours, right? And then the last guy, I told him, I said, my phone is not charging up. I can't charge the phone. So he transferred me to an automated line that was for people who were making a claim against the insurance. And I kid you not, I kid you not. And then where am I gonna go? It didn't even give me an opportunity to like go back in. Sometimes they tell you, press whatever, press the star to go back to the previous menu. No. They said, what's your claim number, and what's this? And I said, what do you mean claim? The phone is not broken. It's a brand new phone. Maybe, something happened. They got to send me another phone. And then so I finally went to the Verizon store. I went to a nearby Verizon store because I figured, this is crazy. So I said, let me go out to the Verizon store. I go over there and I tell him, I said, look, this phone is not charging, you know. And that's for the guy. He just plugged it into his iPod or whatever, or his iPad or whatever he had there. And he said, oh, it's charging up. And I told him, I said, well, I said, listen, I don't want it. I said, just take it back because it was supposed to be a 30-day trial, you know a 30-day trial. So I told him, I said, I just want to leave the phone. I don't want it. And the guy wants to charge me $50 to take the phone back. Yeah. And then so I told him, I said, well, good luck trying to get $50 out of him. Yeah. So anyway, this and the store was crowded. You know. And then so I said, let me get this straight. You people are gonna send me a phone that doesn't charge up. but it just so happens it charges up when this guy plugs it in. And then I guess the supervisor there, he took the guy to the store, and like I said, the store was jam packed, and everybody's looking at me. I walked in there with my walker. I look like a guy. I look like I just came from Iran. Like if I was fighting over there, maybe I got shot or something. And then and then yeah, and then so check this out, right? I'm over there sitting down, grumbling, over here, it almost incoherently. People are probably thinking this guy got PTSD or something. I still got on my wrist. I still got the the hospital band from the VA. I still got it on my wrist. And then so the guy's over here, he's talking and stuff, and then he comes and he tells me, Mr. Perez, he says, this plug here is the same one that's used for an iPhone. And I said, hold on, what do you mean it's the same plug as an iPhone? There's a big difference between a C, which is what they're using now on all the Androids, and an iPhone. An iPhone, you could tell it apart from far away because it got that white thing or whatever. And then so the guy tells me, no, no, he's the same plug. And I'm over here thinking, something's wrong with this. I told the guy, I said, look, man, I just want to turn the phone in. I said, obviously, I don't need this year's technology. Give me last year's technology. Because last year's technology, they took out all the bugs out of it. You know, I mean, all I want to do is just have a second phone so that this way I could do telemarketing on one phone and the other phone would be like for my relatives and friends and stuff, which is going to be this one. And then, well, we found out that the plug by itself was $40 at the Verizon store. And if you buy it on Amazon, it's like $10, but then you gotta buy the cord. And then so I said, no, 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 no. I said, no, no, a minute. And then so the guy, and then I told him, I said, look, I didn't even have any money. I went over there with no money. I didn't think they were going to charge me to take the phone back because it was a free trial, a 30-day free trial. And then so the guy tells me, okay, he says, I tell you what, give me, I think it was like 125 or something like that, and I'll take the phone back. And I'm over here looking around, and I didn't have I didn't have my credit cards or nothing. And that's why I lied. I told the guy, I said, well, look, my wallet got stolen over there at the VA hospital as I was over there. you know? And then so everybody's looking at me, and all I needed was like a violin in the background, to be playing as I was talking. That's all I needed. And I started telling him about my dizzy spells and how I lost my memory there for a second. I didn't know what the heck was happening. Yeah. I told them at this point, everybody in the store, they're not even looking at the phones anymore. Everybody's looking at me. I was I am eating up the attention. I kid you not. When I saw everybody was looking at me, I saw this one lady. She was like ready to take off some tissues and hand them to me. You know, and then so and and then so check this out, right? And then so I finally said, well, let me go home and let me see if I can find a 125 in the seat cushions over there. Then I'll come back. And that's what the guy tells me, Holy, you gonna go home? He said, how you gonna get home? And I said, well, I gotta take an Uber. I can't drive because they don't allow me to drive, because I don't remember anything. And then so the guy says, that's what the guy tells me. He says, well, how far away do you live? And I said, well, it's like a $10 trip. And then so he said, so you pay $10 to come over here. You're gonna pay $10 to go back to your house. Then you're gonna come back here just to give me 125. Then you gotta go back. And then I said, well, what choice do I have? I mean, you people want to charge me. You wanted to charge me $50 before just to take the phone back. I said, I'd rather pay a little bit less. And then so Well, who carries cash nowadays? Nobody nobody carries cash nowadays. No, yeah, $1.25. A dollar. So they went down from $50. They went all the way down to $1.25. Yeah, and they should have done it, but no. Here I am going, and then there was then when I went out the store, it was like a wind, like a tremendous wind. It was knocking down, like they had like a sign in front of the store, and it fell down. And I said, these people are gonna come out here and they're gonna say that and I did it because that thing fell down with a bang. I said, "Oh man!" And then I was waiting for the Uber guy to come. So I came back home, and then I get a notice. I get a letter from Verizon that I owe $140 for this month's charges. And then I got another one yesterday saying that I owe 77 more for this month's charges. So I call up I call up Verizon. And this woman, she was like, I couldn't pronounce her name. If you put a gun to my head, I couldn't. She was, I don't know, from the deepest part of India or Nepal, or I don't know where, one of those places around there. So I recorded the whole thing and I put it on my Facebook page. And the lady, she just couldn't understand what I kept on trying to explain to her what was going on. I said I never charged the phone. I never made a phone call, and yet I'm getting charged $140. And now $77 again. And I told her, I said, I spent 2 hours on the phone with the customer service people. They tried to sell me everything, but nobody could tell me anything about the phone. Finally, my son has the same phone. Victor Jr. has the same phone out there in San Antonio. He said, "No, Dad." He said that takes a special plug. And I said, I believe it because I kept on trying different cords and different plugs, and I even tried different outlets because I said maybe the outlet is no good. So I even tried using different outlets, and it was charging my phone, but it wouldn't charge the new phone. And oh man, and then just joking around, I put down. I said, I'm thinking of getting an iPhone. Maybe I'll go back to the Verizon store. Just just can just see their faces if I walk in there with the walker one more time. I think that poor salesman, I think he's just gonna give up right there. He's gonna just go crying home. No, I'm gonna work for Sprint or something. It's gotta be another place that it's gotta be there's gotta be there's gotta be another place that this guy won't go into. Maybe some carrier pigeons or something, because this guy is following me around. But yeah, I put it on Facebook, man, because people will not believe the stuff that happens on these telephone calls. Yeah. Yeah, it's totally nuts, man, And I'm trying to explain to the lady, and she's over here telling me, "Oh, well, we just gave you a credit for the phone insurance." And I said, "Oh, so you gave me a phone insurance on a phone that I don't have, that I never was able to charge up in the first place. That's really great. I feel fantastic." So what's going on here with this, man? T-Mobile, give me an update on how this went. Oh no, you got to record it. You should. Okay, take care, man. Bye bye. All right. That's funny. All right, let me just see if I can get this thing out.